Over the past several days, we've been inundated with cruise updates, restart plans, and return to service dates. Yesterday, Carnival Cruise Line President Christine Duffy appeared on Good Morning America to talk about its new ship Mardi Gras, vaccine requirements, and more. Later that day, Royal Caribbean released a huge restart plan for the US. What we found most shocking with all these updates is that Carnival Cruise Line and Royal Caribbean seemingly have changed their stances on vaccine requirements. What exactly has changed? Well, I'm DB from Eat, Sleep, Cruise, and in this video we take a look at Royal Caribbean and Carnival Cruise Line's stance on vaccinations and how they've changed over the past month. While Norwegian Cruise Line and Virgin Voyages, among other cruise lines, have announced vaccine requirements from the get-go, Carnival Cruise Line seemed a little bit more reluctant to do so. Now, Christine Duffy, the Carnival president, was in Port Canaveral yesterday for the long-awaited arrival of Carnival Cruise Line's newest ship, Mardi Gras. Mardi Gras is scheduled to set sail on her inaugural season later this summer, after over a year of delay. During an interview with Good Morning America live from the port, the excitement over Mardi Gras quickly switched to the topic of health protocols. What surprised us most was that Ms. Duffy's response regarding vaccines. She indicated that while there is a path forward for unvaccinated cruisers, the cruise line didn't really think that those protocols will work to deliver the guest experience that they want to for their passengers. So she indicated that for right now, she believes people will have to be vaccinated on cruise ships. In terms of kids, she indicates that cruise line is still working with the CDC and the cruise line doesn't have any definite answers yet. However, Carnival is optimistic that it will eventually be able to welcome back families. So now it would seem Carnival Cruise Line is in support of requiring vaccinations for cruises. If that sounds like a complete 180, you'd be right. Back in March, when major cruise lines such as Royal Caribbean and Norwegian Cruise Line announced they were going to start cruising outside of the US and require adults to be vaccinated, Duffy posted a video on social media indicating that Carnival Cruise Line had no plans to restart cruises outside the US. Further, in that video, she strongly encouraged everyone to get a vaccine and admitted she was getting a vaccination herself the next day. Still, the cruise line would not commit to issuing a requirement that those who are eligible to be vaccinated should get one to cruise with Carnival Cruise Line. Carnival Cruise Corp CEO and Chairman Arnold Donald has been very clear in media comments about not requiring vaccination to board cruise ships. He's been quoted several times saying that Carnival Corp brands will not be mandating vaccines. In an interview on April 13th, Bloomberg, when Donald was directly asked about requiring passengers to be vaccinated, he responded, quote, "No, absolutely." He later commented that the brand respects personal choice and personal liberty. Further, he argued that cruising was safe and should not be held to more stringent requirements than other forms of travel. Now, in that same interview, he did concede that Carnival would follow the CDC regulations for cruises with unvaccinated passengers. Now, to partially defend his decision, he cited that in some places it's actually illegal to mandate vaccines. Now, of course, he must be referencing Florida, which last month passed a state law banning businesses, schools, and government entities from asking anyone to provide proof of a COVID-19 vaccination. Of course, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has had a back and forth with the CDC and the cruise lines about requiring vaccinations for several weeks now. He's actually in the middle of a lawsuit with the CDC, suing them over the conditional sailing order. He also had an exchange with Norwegian Cruise Line CEO and Chairman Frank Del Rio. As you may recall, Norwegian Cruise Line was one of the first cruise lines to announce they were going to restart cruise operations with fully vaccinated cruises. Duffy seemed to defend Carnival's decision to not require vaccines a few weeks later. Less than 4 weeks ago, Duffy was on NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt. During her interview, she was complaining about mandating vaccinations on cruise ships. She argued that there is no other industry that's being forced to mandate vaccinations. She also commented that requiring vaccinations would mean the cruise line would not be able to have children under the age of 12 on board its vessels. But now, less than a month later, she's claiming that vaccinated cruisers are the path forward. Now, in an equally surprising turn of events, Royal Caribbean appears to be changing its stance on vaccine requirements in the other direction. All along, Royal Caribbean Group CEO and President Richard Fain has been vocal about the power of vaccination in allowing cruising to resume. Royal Caribbean currently requires guests who are 16 years of age or older to be fully vaccinated for its summer sailings on Adventure of the Seas in the Bahamas. The cruise line also announced the same health protocols for its Alaska sailings. All eligible guests on board Serenade of the Seas and Ovation of the Seas will need a vaccine to cruise Alaska this summer. children who are not eligible can still sail with COVID-19 testing requirements. However, as part of a huge cruise restart announcement yesterday, the brand seemed to drop this requirement for these newly announced sailings. Specifically, Royal Caribbean announced restart plans for 6 additional ships from Florida and Texas home ports this summer. These include Independence of the Seas from Galveston, Texas, Mariner of the Seas and Allure of the Seas from Port Canaveral, Freedom of the Seas and Symphony of the Seas sailing out of Miami, and further, the brand's newest ship, Odyssey of the Seas, will begin her inaugural season from Fort Lauderdale, sailing for the first time on July 3rd. Along with these restart plans, Royal Caribbean has indicated that all crew members will be vaccinated on all Royal Caribbean ships. However, the language now states that the cruise line is strongly encouraging individuals that sail to be fully vaccinated if they're eligible. Those without a vaccination will have to undergo testing, as well as follow other protocols, which the cruise line will announce at a later date. Now, in alignment with CDC guidelines, it would likely mean that if passengers are not required to have a vaccine, face masks and social distancing and other more stringent protocols would have to be in place on Royal Caribbean cruise ships. In our opinion, this could actually be a turnoff for those who are fully vaccinated. If you look at social media, many guests would feel more comfortable knowing that all the other adults on a cruise ship are vaccinated. It also allows for a more normal cruise experience. The CDC has said that if a cruise ship has 95% of passengers fully vaccinated, the cruise lines do not need to impose measures such as wearing face masks on both the outdoor and indoor decks, as well as social distancing measures. Those are the exact protocols that are currently in place on Adventure of the Seas. That cruise leaving from Nassau, Bahamas this Saturday will not require face masks to be worn indoors or outdoors on the ship. Of course, unvaccinated children will still need to wear a mask while indoors during the sailing. So what has changed? Why is Carnival Cruise Line now open to having vaccinated cruises, and Royal Caribbean Cruise Line seems to be pulling away from this requirement? Part of it might have to do with the test cruise requirement. So far, Royal Caribbean has been approved for several test cruises on ships that are planning to sail this summer. While some reports indicate Carnival Cruise Line has been approved for test cruises, the cruise line has not confirmed those reports. Royal Caribbean does have ships sailing in other parts of the world that does not require vaccines, and they have been able to demonstrate on those cruises their health and safety protocols are effective. So Royal Caribbean may be more confident that their test cruises will be successful and that they will be able to sail with these more stringent health requirements quickly. On the other hand, after reviewing test cruise plans, it is possible Carnival Cruise Line realized that to make the changes necessary and implement the health and safety protocols would actually turn away too many cruisers. So perhaps changing their stance on vaccination requirements for cruises is an easier way for them to get up and running quickly and to start revenue sailing sooner than going the test cruise route and making all the additional changes the CDC is requiring if you don't have 95% of passengers fully vaccinated. We expect to hear soon from Carnival Cruise Line. They originally stated that they would make their cruise restart plans public on May 31st, along with their health and safety protocols. While they did release some health and safety protocols 2 weeks ago, those measures say absolutely nothing about vaccines. Only time will tell if both cruise lines truly change when it comes to requiring vaccines on cruise ships. Now, if you found that video helpful, you can check out other videos we have here on the channel that have been detailing the battle between the CDC and the cruise lines, as well as the requirements for cruising in summer 2021. If you're looking for some travel inspiration, you can check out our picks for the top 10 cruise ships of 2021. You can also reach out to us all over social media at Eat Sleep Cruise, where we help you see the world one port at a time.